recording? Okay. This is my Arcanist that has Herald of the Tome, Adric Spear, and Assassination. On Adric Spear, you can see that I don't use any of the skills at all, but I use the last two passives, which you do need to level up your skills and get all the way to level 50 on Adric Spear to get. So not a huge deal. If you don't have these things, you can still just run just the Nightblade. You'll just lose a little bit of damage. You can see on my skill bar, I use Flail and Beam as my first two skills, and those are in Herald of the Tome. And I use these specific morphs, Cephalarch's Flail and Pragmatic Fate Carver, and this is for in-content, not while parsing. The reason for using Pragmatic Fate Carver is it creates a damage shield, so a lot of times when you're in trouble, you can do Beam Cancel, you just hit block button. The third skill is Camo Hunter. This is under, which starts as Expert Hunter, and this is under Fighter's Guild. And then Quick Cloak, which starts out as Blade Cloak, and that is under Dual Wield. You'll want on your front bar, you will want daggers. And then I have a banner. The banner, I change it around sometimes depending on what the group needs, but this banner is shock damage, Cavaliers, which increases weapon and spell damage by 6 for every 1% bonus movement speed up to a max of 450. And in heroism, so it grants minor heroism. You do have to have scribing for this skill. In replacement of this, you could also use Barbed Trap, which is under Fighter's Guild. So let me see what that starts out as. Barbed Trap, which starts as Trap Beast under Fighter's Guild. Sometimes I interchange those depending on my content anyway. The ultimate that I use is Soul Harvest, which is like Incapacitating Strike, but in content often I'll use Soul Harvest instead, that morph. Either one is totally fine. Sometimes just depends on the way your group wants you to go. Back bar, I use a staff, and I use a Blockade of Fire. I use a Inferno staff, and the staff that I use is the one from Maelstrom Arena. So I'm using the Maelstrom staff. If you can't get that one, you could go ahead and just use whatever weapons you're using, whether it's Deadly or Pillars of Nirn or whatever, until you get it. Definitely a great addition to giving you additional damage. My next skill is a scribed skill as well, called Fiery Contingency, which is Ulfsilds, and then flame damage, and then I think that's not Savagery and Prophecy. It might be Savagery and Prophecy. I'll double check on that at the table in a second. In place of this skill, you can use, in Herald of the Tome, Fulminating Rune, and it will give you some damage as well. It's pretty negligible. This is just optimized for damage and doing trifectas and stuff. Last one here is the Concealed Weapon. Concealed Weapon is from Veiled Strike, and then Banner, because you have to have Banner on both bars. And then the final is the Tide King's Gaze, or that would be the, I forgot what the other one is, but it's the ultimate in Herald of the Tome, Languid Eye, which is another one to use as Languid Eye. I like the other one because it follows the bad guy. It does a little bit less damage, but it follows. So a lot of times monsters are moving. They're not always stationary. So, all right, I'm getting my phone call. So that is what I have for skills so far. I will go ahead and upload this onto YouTube and send it over to you, and I'll be back in just a little bit.